Hi, boys and girls. In this video, I'm going to be reading Book 4, Chapter 19 from History, A Day of Celebration and Tears. Before I go on, I want to tell you of something that happened on the 4th of July in 1826. It was while JQ8, that's John Quincy Adams, was still president. Do a little arithmetic and you'll see that day was the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Remember when those firebrands, Patrick Henry, Sam Adams, and Tom Paine, got people who want to break away from England? Remember John Adams and Ben Franklin, who said it should be done with a declaration? Remember how Thomas Jefferson chose just the right words for that declaration? And how John Adams made sure that it was signed by the men of the Continental Congress? Those brave men became traitors to England when they put their names on that declaration. The penalty for treason was death. Well, 50 years later, everyone remembered those great men and those great events. People looked at the young nation and were proud of what they had accomplished. Oh, there were problems, plenty of problems. But to most of its people, America seemed the most exciting place in the whole world. The United States had been born of an idea that struck thinking people like a bolt of lightning. It was the idea found in those simple words from the Declaration. All men are created equal. No nation before had made that its creed. Men, women, and children from all over the world were pouring into America. They wanted to be part of a nation where people are believed to be endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. On July 4th, 1826, the two men most responsible for the Declaration, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, were still alive. They had been good friends when the Declaration was written. Later, they became political enemies, one a Federalist, the other a Republican. And then, after both retired, a friend of each visited John Adams in Massachusetts. "I love Thomas Jefferson, and I always shall," said Adams. "That is enough for me," said Jefferson, when he heard of the remark. He sat down and wrote Adams a letter. And so began a correspondence. That means a series of remarkable letters about their ideas and memories and hopes, letters that you can find in the library. As that 50th Independence Day approached, Americans were especially proud of those founding fathers and of the Great Declaration. They were pleased that John Adams' son was president. Celebrations were planned across the nation. The mayor of Quincy, Massachusetts, wrote to John Adams and asked him to take part in a special ceremony. But Adams was 91 and not feeling very well. He wrote these words to the people of Quincy: "My best wishes in the joys and festivities and the solemn services of that day, on which will be completed the 50th year from its birth, the independence of the United States, a memorable epoch in the annals of the human race, destined in future history to form the brightest or blackest page according to the use or abuse of these political institutions, by which they shall in time to come be shaped by the human mind." Now, wasn't that typical of old John Adams? Even in 91, he was still warning his fellow citizens that things could go wrong and that it was up to them to use their minds for the good of all. In Washington, D.C., the citizens were also planning a celebration. Washington's mayor wrote to Thomas Jefferson and asked if he would participate. But Jefferson was 83 and ailing. He wrote back saying he wished he could come, but he was not well enough. And then he said, "All eyes are opened, or opening, to the rights of man. The general spread of the light of science has already laid open to every view the palpable truth that the mass of mankind has not been born with saddles on their back, nor a favored few booted and spurred, ready to ride them. These are grounds for hope for others. For ourselves, let the annual return of this day forever refresh our recollections of these rights and an undiminished devotion to them." Basically, Thomas Jefferson was saying that it's true that man was not born to be a slave, nor were men born to be masters of slaves. And that was just like Jefferson, to be still writing inspiring words. Finally, when the 4th of July came, Thomas Jefferson lay in his bed at Monticello. He asked, "Is it the 4th?" and soon breathed no more. In another bed on the same day, this one in Quincy, Massachusetts, John Adams whispered, "Thomas Jefferson survives," and then he was dead. Messengers on horseback sent out from Massachusetts carrying the sad news south. Messengers were already on their way north from Virginia with the sad news. They met in Philadelphia, the city where young Adams and young Jefferson had worked together on the Great Declaration. There, in the shadow of Independence Hall, the couriers exchanged their messages. That's a picture of John Adams. All right, boys and girls, thanks for listening to chapter 19. And if you have any questions about any of the words or anything that you read, just go ahead and email me. I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks.